Well, right now in Iraq, we have a number of situations that are overlaid. We have the Syrian refugee crisis, which has led to over 200,000 refugees taking shelter in the northern part of Iraq in the Kurdistan region. But we also have internally displaced people that have come in 4 different waves, leading to over 2 million people within Iraq being displaced from their homes. And over 1 million of those have also come into the Kurdistan region. So we have a huge influx of people that have been displaced from either their country of origin or within their own home country. Well, we have a cash transfer program that's in place, and ideally what this does is it gives these people the opportunity to use a voucher system to get the items and products and services that they need, so that if, for example, they need clothing, they can use these vouchers to get those items. If it's food, they can use the vouchers to get the other items they need. And it also pumps cash into the local economy. So instead of just giving out hard goods, non-food items, or food, then these people can use these items to go to local stores, these vouchers, get what they need, and thus the host community also benefits. Because when you have this large amount of displacement, it's not just the people who've been displaced, but also the communities that have absorbed them, that are lacking resources and having to give up space, time, and funds to accommodate them. Many of the areas that were overrun by the armed opposition groups were minority areas. Many of these minorities were Christians. For example, when the groups from Mosul started to move east, they overran a large Christian area. The Christians then took refuge in Erbil. When they came to Erbil, they went to the churches with which they were affiliated. It was these churches then that helped to identify areas where they could be housed temporarily or more long-term, and UNICEF, working with the churches, was able to help provide services such as medical attention, water and food and shelter items. So the churches were very instrumental in that particular network. But other networks, and whatever they might be for, say, Yazidis or other minorities, have also been crucial. So finding the right network leadership and understanding how they're working with people in their kinship or other affiliate pattern, and then working through that to get our supplies and services out, has been crucial. Well, with the refugees, if we're speaking purely about the Syrians, we have about 40% of the 220,000 that are children. So these are children under the age of 17. And if we include with that then the internally displaced populations, we have over 1 million children who've been displaced, who are out of school, who are living in temporary or longer-term shelters. So what we do is we try to provide a sense of normalcy. If we have a child, for example, the Syrian crisis started about 4 years ago. A child who has their birthday today, their entire life, their whole formation of reality is around this crisis. So what for us is an emergency, is a crisis, for them is normal. For them, what is strange is a normal life. So what UNICEF and partners attempt to do is create a normal life. A camp will never be home, but if they have a place they can play, if they can go to school, if they can be with friends and a family and basically feel safe and secure, then ideally they won't lose that opportunity to continue to grow. And their growth program will continue, their schooling will continue, so when they become adults, they're not an adult that lost a childhood. They're an adult that went through all the stages of childhood necessary to be healthy and happy and productive. We hear a lot in the news about the politics and the violence and the armed forces. What we don't see enough of is the impact it's having on a huge number of children. We have over 1 million children that are impacted directly. That means they've been displaced from their homes. If we look at children in the communities, that number goes up to 3 or 4 million. And putting the human face on that and the scale and scope and the funds necessary to respond. We are very underfunded right now. UNICEF alone, as an agency, needs over $200 million to meet our accountabilities in the next year. And that's only for UNICEF for 1 year in the current crisis. If the crisis becomes larger, that could double. And we just are not getting the funding necessary to meet these demands.